Ole Miss splattered Arkansas. It was a shame. It was a crime and a shame, as Meemaw would say, what went down in Northwest Arkansas yesterday, 63-31. All I needed to know about Ole Miss after that LSU loss was, are they still checked in? If Ole Miss was still checked in, and this was a 1.5 Chalai game, not very watchable if you weren't an Ole Miss fan. If Ole Miss was still checked in, Ole Miss was going to be very dangerous. Because with 2 losses, folks were going to forget about them, which a lot of America has, but all those players were still going to be there. And Ole Miss has not checked out, so they're still in this thing. And Ole Miss is a 2-loss team, but they are a top 10 team in my eyes. Power ratings-wise, this is a top 10 team. AP does not agree. That's okay, though. Use your eyeballs. Just watch them. Just watch them. Now, I will say this. I have no evidence of this, but this game was so severely lopsided, it wouldn't surprise me if they either knew something or they had something on Arkansas. I'm not going full Connor Stallions on you or anything like that, but this was almost beyond the pale. They had 8 touchdowns in 12 drives, they nearly had 700 yards total offense. The thing about that is, Ole Miss's previous 4 games, they had failed to top 27 points, and they just exploded. Trey Harris was out in this game, and Dart 515 yards and 6 touchdowns anyway. He just set program records yesterday. So either Arkansas got sliced up in historic fashion straight up, or Ole Miss had them scouted about as thoroughly as any team's ever had someone scout him. Everything's on the table. Everything's in play for Ole Miss. I need you to understand this, okay? Don't trust the boogeymen, the Danny Cannells of the world, who as soon as you lose a second game, if you got an SEC sticker on your helmet, tell you you're eliminated. No, you're not. And Ole Miss is not. Now, Ole Miss is maybe on the outside of the picture looking in temporarily, but what if they win Saturday? What if they beat Georgia? What happens? And what happens with the rest of the country? If they close undefeated, and they only got 3 games left, they got Georgia, and then they got a bye week, then they go to Florida, and then they play Mississippi State. If they win Saturday, they're gonna beat those other 2 teams, and they will finish 10-2, and they will have closed with 5 straight wins, and they'll have a win over Georgia, and they'll have a win comfortably on the road at South Carolina. I think we all understand after last night how big an accomplishment that was. You're going to look at them and say, oh, no, it's slam dunk, you're eliminated. No, they're not. No, they're not. They'll be one of several SEC teams squarely in the mix, and that team, that Ole Miss team, if they keep winning, you mark my words on this, mark the date, it's November 3rd. If Ole Miss keeps winning, they're going to be a big barometer team for Greg Sankey and for the SEC, because those folks are just sitting around waiting right now. They're sitting around waiting to see how the College Football Playoff Committee treats these teams. Not the number 1 or number 2 or number 3 teams in your conference, but the number 4, 5, 6 teams in the SEC, the ones whose resumes probably compare very favorably to teams from other conferences with fewer losses. They're waiting to see how the committee treats them before they decide whether they need to take their ball and just go play their own game. And that team, that Ole Miss team, that's the perfect team to watch, because that's the kind of team that could be sitting there 10-2, and because the committee's already put 4 other SEC teams in, they just give the nod to someone else, like SMU or something like that. And Greg Sankey says, that's the call you're going to make, huh? That's your decision. That's your final decision. Okay, well, maybe we've got a decision to make in a couple of years. I'm not advocating for it, but I'm just saying that's reality right now. Everyone kind of understands it's a trial period for the college football playoff format, and the 2 most interested parties are the SEC and the Big Ten. Translation, they want preferential treatment, and they're going to punish you if you don't give it to them. That's your grandfather's college football, right?